Hey, what's popping with y'all, man? Man, ran up on this conversation between shout out to Cam Newton and Hitmaker, aka Young Berg. They had an interesting conversation just about, you know, the way it is right now in the dating realm, how it is with women, and how social media has changed everything. And I thought it was a real deal conversation because you got two guys here who are ultra successful, and yet they're dealing with the same shit that we talk about all the time. So it goes to show you that the game never ends because even they go through it. It's just on a different level, but they still go through it. So I'm gonna play parts of the conversation and we're gonna react to it.
Love meaning I'm so easy to love, baby. Like boom, I could be in Miami, I could be in Bora Bora tonight. I could be in Jamaica tonight. Who doesn't want to love that? Are you loving what I can provide for you, or are you loving the source that's providing for you? And only time you will identify that is when we go through shit.
And the reaction of the person that's going through it with
And
you.
that's so, and more times than not, they're going to show you that their patience for you isn't really what you expected it to be.
Wow.
That's heavy.
So let me first pause it right there, right? You got Cam basically saying like, when you become successful, this is why you kind of want to get a woman before you become ultra successful, because like he said, you're never going to really know if she's there for you unless a hard time comes up. Because it's like, yeah, shit is all good when we taking all these trips and doing all this shit, but what happened when my bag slows down? This is why like the whole thing, like I had to talk with my homie. He was like, he used to think like a couple years ago, like, all right, when I become successful, it'll be easier for me to find the woman I want. And I was telling him like, bro, that's kind of the wrong way to think, because when you become successful, a lot of times you don't know why the woman is there. But when you get a woman on your come up, at least you know she's not there for your resources. She's willing to build with you and grow. So like Cam saying, the more money you make, it get rough in these streets, bro.
That's heavy. Bro, I have these conversations a lot.
Hey, my man. Re-up me.
It's one of those situations. It's really because it's like when I say it, even to my lady, it's like, man, a man who provides will never really know unconditional love. You get that from your children.
Wow.
You get that from your children, but you don't get that from your partner. Not in all cases.
So if you know that, and most women have children, where we go from here?
Yeah. You just gotta walk by faith. And
So
not
what
by
would you
sight.
tell me with a nigga with no kids? Like, yo, like a successful nigga with no kids, what would you say right now off the rip? Would you say wife something up, get married, have kids? Like what would you, and a nigga that ain't got no like day one, like I don't got no backstory
History,
shit.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That can make it make sense.
I can hear the comments right now. Not Cam becoming a psychologist, but I think I've been around the block so many times with so many different women. I've dated girls that's popping. I've dated girls that weren't. I tried to, you know, do this with this particular individual. And in my experiences alone, what I would tell you going into any situation as far as dating is like, bro, really have a transparent discussion first with no strings attached. You know what I'm saying?
Like what? Ooh, I'm gonna tell you my last dating relationship. It's gonna go. It's up. Go ahead. You tell me.
So like people, I think women should start valuing sex more than a relationship.
True.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, I'm not gonna fuck him until after. That's not the flex no more. The flex is like you said.
I had a talk with my homie about this yesterday. He was at the crib and we was talking about this shit because we was actually watching this interview. And what I was telling him is like, women a lot of times hold sex against us because they think that's the thing we value the most. And the reason why they do that is because a lot of times they'll see causation doesn't equal correlation. Let me say that again. Causation doesn't equal correlation. So just because dudes are hitting and quitting, that does not mean sex is the reason why that is happening. So what you got to understand as a man, we decide if we like you after the sex. So after we have sex with you, now we're trying to see what qualities do you have for me to want to keep you around. And a lot of times women value sex so much, and I don't know if Cam is about to make this point, but what I will say is women try to use that against us. But the thing is, sex is not what I'm going to judge you on. That's just like the entering the door. After that, now I need to see, do I like being around your ass? Do I like your character? Do I like your personality? But also back to what he was saying about a young dude, what would you advise to a young successful man? What I would say to that is, as a young successful man, is just vet. And even then, like Cam said, you still will never know. But also too, don't lead with your money. Don't lead with your success. Take your time. If she ain't cool with going for a walk in the park in the summertime, then and she's trying to go to Nobu instead, maybe that should tell you she's not in it for you. So it's the little things that you got to pay attention to. Does she always want you to spend money when you're around? Or is she cool with doing the little things and then building up to that? That's what you got to pay attention to.
Said it's like, yo, how can we get lost with each other? I think what has gave me the security, the emotional security of knowing like, yo, I've asked those questions and there hasn't been no flare-ups. There hasn't been nothing that's just been like, no, like, why are you moving? It's a man's responsibility to shape and mold his partner just the same way it's a girl's responsibility to shape and mold her partner. She's doing what she's doing to you because somebody has allowed that. He's doing what he's doing to you because somebody has allowed it. We all are creatures of habit. You know what I'm saying? So for you being in the world that it may not be the best way to find a girl, and I always say it, how do you know who's for you when anybody will go for you? Go with you. They see how you dress. They see how you carry yourself. They see you at these.
Hey, he has a point too. Like, man, the more success you get, the more notoriety you have, the more clout you have, anybody's willing to go with you. You got money. When you got money and you got the freedom, you can book a flight to Europe tomorrow. You can be, you know what I'm saying? When you could do what you want to do, call the shots how you want to call them. How do I know that you're here for the right reasons and you're not just here for the good time? And that's the whole point Cam is trying to make. This is why I preach vetting on my channel the way I do, man. This is why y'all gotta log into my Patreon, man. One-on-one consultations, man, answering your questions, and we can figure out how we gonna make this work. But the thing is, you want to get the woman as you're building ideally, because when you become a multimillionaire like Cam, you become a multimillionaire like Young Berg, it gets harder. Because how do I know that you're really here for me? I just know that you like my bank account. You love my bank account. You love the way I post on the gram. That's what the fuck you like.
Extravagant different places, and when you cut through all that bullshit, it's like, hey bro, who are you? Man, take that goddamn mascara off, baby. You pretty as fuck without all that shit. Man, put some sweatpants on and let's go for a fucking walk. Like, I really want to talk to you. Like, man, take all this goddamn jewelry off, bro. Like, ask these, like, how, where are you? Right? We have people that are trying to hold people to the standard of morals that don't have no morals. Right? We're when you hear this conversation, I can't post anything or say.
We trying to hold people to morals that don't have any morals. So when you try to take a woman seriously who don't take herself seriously, that's being counterproductive. Why the fuck would you do that? But I think that's what we do a lot, because we go for a woman's looks. We go for the beauty naturally. So for us, we try to put a woman in her place, but she's not meant for you, because she doesn't want to abide by your program. And remember what Ron will say, if she's not in cooperation with your operation, she gotta go. So why would you even try to like be morally correct, have standards for somebody who could care less? They just care about that bank account. That's it.
Say anything about a relationship, and then somebody will say, well, why you ain't married yet? People are leaning towards marriage, which is a holy, biblical, or religious thing, and you're not even religious. You see what I'm saying? So let's backtrack and let's get to the root of the situation. Is like, yo, are you equipped to be a wife? Are you equipped to be a husband? Have you really did the soul search with yourself, Berg, to say like, yo, bro, I think I'm ready? Because when you're ready, a girl can tell you, I had a life before you. And with that life before you came, I was with this person, I was with that person. And what you gonna say, like, nah, I can't fuck with you because you dealt with him. It's like, yeah, that may be hurtful, but that was a version of yourself. That ain't who I'm looking at right now. Because if you think that girl a virgin or a person that ain't had no whole phase, you a fucking fool. We all done been out. We all done been around. We all done been passed off in that retrospect of did something that's like, golly, that was a little, But that cannot traumatize you with still having hope and faith.
See, that's where you landed. You saying that the hope and the faith into a person until they show you different is what's the motivation behind it.
Yeah.
I ain't going with that shit.
Because
I don't expect women to value and think about things the same way that I think about it, because I'm operating as a man off of X and O's and they're operating off of emotions. So when things come to play, like, right, when the last time you said, my nigga, this bitch make $10 million a year, boy, I can't wait to get this bitch? Or it was just like, man, this bitch fine as hell. I don't think nobody I wanna. No,
that's not a real.
It's different.
I don't want that. I've never expected that from a woman. Like $10 million. Like, I never wanted that. See,
and that's facts, because we don't ever be like, I don't care how much money a chick got. I don't care what kind of car she drive. I've never said like, damn, she drive a Bentley. Damn, she drive a Ferrari. Damn, she drive a Lamborghini Urus. Damn, she drive a G-Wagon. I want her. I've never said that in my life. I've never said, I don't care what type of car a chick drive, because it really don't matter to me. And what we have in this generation is women that become ultra successful. They think they're on the same playing field as a successful man in the dating realm, but that's not the case. Like, going back to what Cam just said, what is going to qualify you to be a wife? Are you ready to be a wife? You say you are on the internet, that you want to be taken seriously, A, B, C, D, but yet your actions show otherwise.
I want to say this, and this is a man issue and a female issue. Too many times we go into a relationship expecting a final product.
What nigga?
Like, we go into like,
you old, nigga, you 35.
Yeah.
They better expect a final product from us right now.
See, that's what women are expecting. So when you go to that 25 checklist, they're expecting those, and those are all Prince Charming.
What's funny is what Hitmaker is saying to Cam, they're both correct, right? They're both correct. I don't think we should go into situations expecting a final product, right? Because you shouldn't put on an age on, oh, you should have your shit together by ABC, right? Because it's kind of unrealistic. But what Berg is saying is also correct, because he said, nigga, you, and by the way, Berg is 38. So he's basically saying to Cam, like, yo, you better have your shit together. And Cam is like, well, you're right, because women nowadays, they expect for you to be at the finish line when they meet you. Women expect you to be at the finish line at 21, at 22, when you're 23. They want you to be at the finish line regardless of what age they met you at in your adult life. And that's what makes like this society kind of unrealistic in a way, right? And to me, how I look at it is, man, in life, you're gonna go through things, right? You might go through setbacks. My dad was very successful, but my dad is from the hood, and he didn't really start getting his ish together until he was about 38, 39. And now, you know, he handled his career, had a good career. He's been retired for years now. Still pays all the bills, all the car notes, got a big crib. So it's possible to not have your shit together in your 30s. But what I would say is you should always be building yourself each and every day. And if a woman comes around and she doesn't want to build with you, she doesn't see that you putting in the work and she's not good with that, well, that should tell you about the woman. So Berg and Cam are both correct. They're both correct on this ideology of you should have your shit together, but you shouldn't. Cam is saying somebody's going to be in different phases, and Berg saying, nigga, you should have your shit together. So I understand both sides.
want a man to be stable. I want him to have this. He can't have no kids. Da, 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 da. I need him to know what he wants. As a man, you're saying, I need her to be fine. She needs to be, institutionalized. She has to know how to cook. She has to, have to have a job, or blah, 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 submissive.
Traditional shit.
Yeah, but all those things, what you're failing to realize and what a lot of people are failing to realize is like, yo, those are all processes that come with phases. Now, the question is, are you willing to conform to my expectations?
All right, so what's the age? It depends on the age range. What, like, for me personally, to say that I'm physically dating a woman, like, and be like, yo, I'm locked in with a woman, she got to be over 30. I'm not expecting that from someone that, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like the disconnect that you're saying is like, it's kind of coming with growth. You know what I'm saying? Where that person is in their life.
I say it like this, bro. My pop used to always say, bro, you gotta at least scrape your knee. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want you to be new to how does this happen? It's like, dog, don't be no goofy out here in regards to I want a young ass girl. I don't think you should put a age limit to it.
I think so?
Yes, bro. Because if you're asking me, I'ma tell you, dog.
Cap, you lying. And you
want to speak on what they're talking about right now. Basically, Berg was saying like, yo, if a chick not over 30, I really don't want to deal with her. And Cam is saying, bro, don't put limitations on that shit because you can be kind of blocking your blessings, right? And I can hear my cousin talking to me right now because I kind of agree. I think a lot of times I agree with Cam. I think we put limits on things, but what's the reasoning behind that? Because I hear you. Women that are typically over 30, they're going to typically be a little bit more seasoned, right? But also, it could be a woman who's 24, 25, who's just as seasoned, who came from a good family, you know what I'm saying? And she's ready to be a wife as well. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the thing that you got to understand. So it's like, just don't block your blessings by thinking like that. But let's go ahead and continue to hear what they got to say.
Capping right now. Like, I'm gonna be 100 with you. Like, if I was your little brother, you would never tell me at this successful point to go get an older girl that got kids to be my first, like, my thing.
You're not listening.
Okay, I'm listening.
Because the first thing I said, don't be no goofy.
It come with it, but that come naturally. Yeah,
it's like I said, don't be no goofy, but also don't put an age requirement on that because you can block your blessing. Because there's one, like, when I mean, like, you're how old?
Me, 38.
You're 38. I'm not sitting up here telling you to go after a young girl that's like 18 and 19. That's a little rich.
Nah, that's wild.
That's goofy.
That's a little Robert De Niro.
You see what I'm saying? Well, what I'm telling you is this. He just caught a stray. What I'm telling you is understand, have an open mind to be able to say, like, when a person's ready, bro, they ready. And going back to what I just said, as far as, are you ready to conform? And it's not conform from a masculine standpoint. It's also the expectations that a female is expecting from a man.
You lying, bro.
How?
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you.
Talk to me nice. Let's go.
Listen. In the last probably 8 to 10 years of my experience of social media, your girl, when all that shit went viral with you and that thing, she was the most person to be like, stay out my business. I'm happy with this. This what's going on. Mm-hmm. Name me another bitch that did it. A woman, a lady, because sometimes my delivery wrong and I use the wrong different words. Yeah. But name me somebody else that's been that stand up. If you can name me 10 of those women, and it's these many billion women in the world, then you're speaking from a fucking privileged position. Like, you go home to your privileged position, bro. This is not reality for niggas like me, bro. So you're talking from a space to where you're excited about that. The normal woman that is a younger woman, whether she's older or whatever, they're not manipulating and moving like that. Yeah. You got somebody that understood you, or what went through enough to understood that this is it. How men would say, I'm staying for the kids. Like, a woman could go and break, like, a fucking respectfully, and I work with Will Smith and I love his family or whatever, but when that shit happened with Jay,
All right, so I'm gonna kind of pause it right there. If you want to go watch it's a good interview. You know what I'm saying? Great conversation. I watched it 2 times. Watched it once with my homie. I watched it once by myself. It's on Cam Newton's page, Hitmaker. You can just type in Cam Newton Hitmaker, but it's on Cam Newton's YouTube channel. But what I will say is, it's very good to hear both sides of an argument, right? There's a lot of points that were made in this video. You know, what I take from this conversation is that never rush in to get something solidified with the woman. I think you should always take your time and vet a woman, right? Especially before you even get in a relationship with her. Because these days, man, I got a homegirl, she got in a relationship with her boyfriend after, like, she said about 2.5 months. I don't even really think that's a long enough time to even really get to know somebody. So just spend your time getting to know who somebody is. And yeah, women, let's face it, right? We all know women in this era that we live in, they're gonna want they're waiting at the finish line. They want niggas that's at the finish line. So if a woman wants you to be at the finish line and she don't want you, just chalk it up to the game, because the reality is there's going to be women out here that see the potential in you, that want to build with you, that are realistic. There's going to be women like that out here, because at the end of the day, these problems are only going to get worse with the more money and more success that you get. You hearing them talk about it. These are multi-millionaires. They talking about the same shit we talk about. I ain't got $1 million. And they on the same shit. They talking about the same shit. How do you know if a woman is for you or not? You know what I'm saying? So I thought this was a great conversation, man. Y'all go check it out. Show Cam and Berg some love, man. And y'all know, like I say every video, man, this is why we must continue to put ourselves first. All right, guys, that's my video for today, man. Appreciate you guys for coming over to the channel as always. And until the next time, deuces.
Oh,